Hello, my name is Roman Titarenko. I'm a social studies teacher at Whitaker Middle School in Kaiser, Oregon. The purpose of this video is to talk about the professional dispositions as it's related to education. So first thing we're going to talk about is the role of the teacher has when it comes to improving planning and practice, upholding professional expectations, and collaboratively advancing the profession. So the first thing I see is every teacher should be aware of their own dispositions, be aware of what's required of them, be in line with the standards, because if you're not sure what you're trying to work towards, you're kind of going to be spinning in circles. A way that teachers can collaboratively improve their profession is by relying on other professional teachers, especially in their own specific field, meaning me as a social studies teacher, me collaborating with another social studies teacher in tune of the planning for the lessons, in tune of, hey, can I sit in your class, see it, how your class management goes so I can improve on my own. So just the constant learning and the growing as a professional. Next thing I want to discuss is the dispositions I currently feel like I have a strong hold on, and some that I feel like I might need some work on still or I struggle with. Firstly, I think fairness is something I very much relate to. For me, I want every student to feel welcome, safe. I don't want any student to feel like they have special treatment. I want every student to be able to learn at their own pace, same thing, and kind of goes into higher expectations, wanting every student to succeed. No students can be left behind just because of anything that, my personal biases that might be attested. Second thing is reflection. I feel like really falls in line with professional growth. I always want to improve on my assignments. For example, presentations that I had last trimester. Honestly, that was gonna be a difficulty with the kids. I discussed that afterwards towards the end of the trimester. I'm like, hey, what was your favorite assignment? Almost all of them said presentations. So it kind of showed me that hey, this is something that works and allows them to collaborate as well as use their critical thinking to, grow as learners. And thirdly, I think most importantly for me is compassion. For me, I feel like we, as teachers, we're here to, teach kids, get them ready for the real world, for college, for the workforce. Some kids, they just need someone to rely on, a role model, someone to just care about them. And I feel like for me, from my personal experience of not really having that, led me to be very strong in that aspect because I know the importance of it. And, sometimes the kids need just someone to be nice to them, someone to care about them. And I think that we can do that better as teachers by knowing what's going on in their lives, either from, being listeners, seeing, how they interact with other students, seeing if there's a change in mood, as well as collaborating with other teachers, be like, hey, I've had times teachers be like, hey, the student's having a hard time, this and this happened. So, I'm kind of a little slack because, maybe not learning about the culture of Japan is not going to help you as much as me being lenient or showing compassion. That's going to go a lot further for you in life. One thing I feel like is dedication to be disposition that I'm still continually working on is due to balancing of, going to get a master's degree, being a teacher, planning assignments, grading. Sometimes you do feel like, you're sacrificing a lot and you're having life pass you by. But the focus of, hey, I'm doing it for the kids, I'm doing this so I can grow as a teacher, as an educator, and be better suited to be a teacher for them, it helps them keep going. So, thirdly, I want to talk about personal biases and how they can be affected in the teaching environment as well as learning environment. So standard 3 of InTask focus on teachers working collaboratively to create environments that support positive learning interactions, active engagement, and learning self-motivation. So for me, the way I understand it is if a student doesn't believe if a teacher does not believe a student is able to learn, or the student's like, hey, struggling, they just can't learn for whatever reason, a personal bias, we kind of limit that student and kind of leave them in the dust, which could be an issue as that student could start believing that they're not capable of, which goes against expecting every student to have equitable opportunity in the classroom. Finally, I want to reflect on my professional disposition related to education. So one thing is being aware of my own strengths and weaknesses, where I'm strong at, where I need to work on. Obviously, with all the things teachers have to do in the day, it's hard to, reflect, slow down, see like, hey, this is what I need to work on. I think that's where administrators really help out. So if there's an administrator that does a teacher observation, gives me some notes, how I react to that is also important too. If I'm like, hey, yeah, no, you're wrong, I was just an off day, but if I'm able to just assess it and see, it's like, all right, this is my where I'm at, this is where I need to be, and this is how I attain it. Because we expect the same thing from our students, we should be doing it ourselves. And lastly, I feel like it was always my purpose to be a teacher, not because I felt I was very smart, but I love sharing information, and I've always had this sense of compassion due to me not having someone for me in those formative years of middle school and high school. So me being able to be that person that could be a role model, can help someone, structure their life, someone to be, care about them, really led me to believe that, hey, this is something that really makes sense for me.